House of the Dragon is HBO's newest Game of Thrones spin-off show, and it is set to be releasing soon, and fans cannot wait. But how well do you know the cast members? In today's video, we are going to be sharing some fun facts about the cast members so you can impress your friends at the first episode watch party. Stick around, because you are not going to want to miss a second of this video. First up, who is a part of the cast? Like many people who are going to be tuned in to HBO on August 21st when the first episode of the GOT prequel releases, you may have no idea who is actually going to be in the show in terms of actors. You may have a good idea on which characters from the lore may be in the show, but you may have absolutely no idea who's playing them. And we cannot wait to let you in on some of the behind-the-scenes news so you can better know the newest show in Westeros. The cast actually has some huge names in it, like Matt Smith, Emma Darcy, Rhys Ifans, Graham McTavish, Olivia Cooke, Millie Alcock, and Paddy Considine. The show is stacked in terms of talent, but to be honest, that was to be expected after the fantastic acting performances that we got in Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, since the show is a prequel to GOT that takes place many years prior to the original show, we will not be seeing any actors overlap from the two shows. While that doesn't mean that the acting will be worse, it just means that we will be missing out on seeing some of our favorite people from the original show being able to reprise the role that either revitalized or jump-started their careers. Think about it. Some of these actors and actresses could use this show as their starting off point into superstardom, like Emilia Clarke or Jason Momoa did with GOT. While we are unsure on who will get the boost in popularity right now, I'm sure that somebody will, considering the great popularity that the show entails. Up next, who is Matt Smith playing, and what are some fun facts about Matt Smith? Matt Smith is going to be a huge part of the prequel show and will be playing Daemon Targaryen, the Prince of House Targaryen and the heir to the throne. Daemon is one of the best warriors and dragon riders in all of Westeros and is classified as peerless in these respects. Daemon has the blood of the dragon coursing through his veins and will prove to be a fierce warrior and competitor for the right to rule the Iron Throne, which always seems to be a point of contention in Westeros, right? Anyway, Matt Smith will bring the demonic confidence that this character will need, and he will bring the mentality of the guy you love to hate, I'm sure. Matt Smith is a tremendous actor who has done a great job as the anti-hero villain in so many projects prior to starring in House of the Dragon. Matt Smith starred in the recently released Sony Marvel film Morbius, which of course bombed harder than a fat man doing a cannonball off a 20-foot diving board. But Matt Smith was sort of one of the high points in the film, I guess. Except for that dance sequence. And if you've seen the film, then you know what I mean. But regardless, Matt Smith has some serious acting chops, and I guarantee that he will be one of the high points in this series acting-wise. As for his character, we will just have to wait and see, but as we saw in GOT, the Targaryens are a devilishly confident and brutal bunch, and will do whatever is necessary to get what they want, which will obviously prove to cause a great deal of commotion and turmoil in what is already a tumultuous time in Westeros. As for Matt Smith himself, he has a very impressive resume that you may not know about. I'm sure most of you already know, but Matt Smith was the titular character on the show Doctor Who for quite some time. But did you know that he was actually the youngest to ever play the Doctor at just age 26? That's right, he was only 26 years old when he took on what is undoubtedly one of the most popular characters in all of sci-fi. Those are some pretty huge shoes to fill, but as we all know, he did a pretty excellent job. Some other interesting things about Matt Smith is that he actually had no intentions of ever acting as a profession. He actually intended on becoming a pro football player prior to an unfortunate back injury. And for those of you who do not live in Europe and are currently trying to imagine Matt Smith playing American football, I should clarify, he intended to be a pro soccer player prior to his injury, not an NFL player. Matt Smith may not be a great actor, but I don't see him making it very far on the football field. But as interesting as Matt Smith is, let's move on to some of the other actors we have to see in the show. Next up, who is Emma Darcy and who will she be playing on the show? Emma Darcy will be stepping into House of the Dragon as yet another Targaryen and will be portraying Rhaenyra Targaryen, the sister of Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen. While you would think that this would make them a formidable team, as they help each other make a stake for the throne, they could also find themselves in fierce competition for it, as obviously there is only room for one butt on the Iron Throne. So while they may work together for some time, I have an odd suspicion that they will end up being the death of one another when it comes down to the nitty-gritty. But obviously we won't be finding out about that until the show premieres and begins down the treacherous road of sibling rivalries in the Land of Dragons, as brothers and sisters never seem to have a very normal relationship in this universe. Please refer to Game of Thrones. Anyway, I'm sure that more of you are wondering, who the heck is Emma Darcy? Emma Darcy may be relatively new to the acting scene, but this will certainly launch their career if that's what they so desire, which actually may not be what they want. As talented as they are, Emma is extremely private. Next up, who will Olivia Cooke be playing, and will her character be in the running for the Iron Throne? Olivia Cooke is a name that some of you may recognize, and that is because she has been putting in the work to be in some huge projects as of late. She recently starred in Steven Steven Spielberg's epic blockbuster Ready Player One, and she also starred in 44 episodes of the creepy TV show Bates Motel. Olivia is ready to be shot out of a cannon in terms of popularity, and is my pick to be the breakout star from this show. While she may not count, as she has already been in a wildly popular blockbuster film, I still think she is relatively unknown, and this will be the project that sends her popularity to the moon, especially when you consider her role in the story of House of the Dragon. Olivia will be playing Alicent Hightower, who will have a big part to play in the political turmoil that is running rampant in Westeros. Obviously, her family is not in charge at the time of the show, but as we know from GOT, the family in power does not always stay in power for very long, and I can assure you that Alicent Hightower will have her fingerprints all over this show and will be a major player in the fight for the Iron Throne and control of Westeros. Despite being a probable major player in the show, Olivia's start in acting is hilariously different than most actors, as Olivia actually has no background in acting. That's right, her only performance prior to her first role as a side character on the show Blackout was starring in a One Direction music video. Hilarious, right? What a crazy start to an acting career, am I right? She starred in the music video for the song Autumn Term by One Direction, and since then has enjoyed massive fame in the acting world. Most of her background in performing arts actually stems from music, as she had dreams of being a famous musician before she settled into pro acting. Imagine not being able to be a rock star, so you settle for being a famous actor. Must be nice, right? This cast is full of people who planned on being famous, but just not for acting. And now, they are set to be major characters in an incredibly famous TV series. Life is funny, isn't it? Well, that's all we have for you guys today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.